Yeah, I've currently got the RAZR prototype actually in. We're still trying to work on the RAZR fit, getting the correct specs and stuff for me, but for the time being this one's, is my kind of go-to driver at the minute. It's got 9.5 degrees of loft on the head, but there's about 10.7 degrees of loft on the club, just because of how I like to see it set up and sit on the floor over the ball. It's got a Fujikura speeder shaft in, X-Flex, but a relatively light shaft for most guys out here. I take quite a bit of loft off, which is why I've got a lot of loft on my driver. I actually take a little bit of loft off when I hit the ball. So I hit the ball quite a decent ways and quite strong flights. And I really struggle with actually getting a normal 3-wood loft airborne properly with the flight I like. So this is actually an 18-degree 5-wood that's bent to 16.5, I think, for me. Again, it's got the Fujikura speeder in the red, but the X-Flex in again. And I've just put this one in this week just to have a little play with. This is the new RAZR Fit 5-wood, and again they've just tinkered it a little bit with the loft and with the head and how it sits, trying to get it to match up as close as possible, obviously, whilst trying to get the RAZR Fit in the bag. I've got a 21-degree utility instead of a 3-iron. I don't carry a 2-iron or a 5-wood because of how I hit the ball. I've had to go to a utility iron to try and keep the flight down a little bit at times. I originally put it in for the likes of Dunhill and stuff and Scottish Open last year and the Open last year, and then I found it so much more useful than a hybrid that I ended up just having it in the bag for the entire spell. I seem to get a bit of a poppy flight with the hybrids, whereas this one I can keep it down a little bit more and control it. Most weeks you'd like to say the weather's going to be perfect, but as you can see now it's pretty windy, and a lot of weeks it's actually nice to have that one to just keep it down off the tee if you need to hit something in play. For the last probably 6-7 years of my career I've only had 4 through 9-iron. I've always carried 4 wedges. I do a lot of pitching, a lot of numbers work with my wedges with my coach Graham Walker that we work on, and I've got a lot of distances that I can hit with the different flights of the wedges, so I choose more of 4 wedges over a 3-iron, say. I feel like I'd use an extra wedge more than I would necessarily hit a 3-iron in a tournament. I'm generally a 1/4 inch longer and a degree upright. I've got super light, extra stiff shafts in these. They're stepped twice. Again, I'm quite a strong hitter, but with the light shafts it kind of needs to counteract it, so we step them twice to make them a little bit stiffer in the tip. And then the wedges again are exactly the same spec, although they kind of just vary down a little bit. My 52 is only half a degree upright, my 56 is standard, and then my lob wedge is standard to ever so slightly flat, just because of how you play them certain shots. You're in a bunker, you don't want an upright lob wedge. Then all you're going to do is you're going to get the heel digging in, you're not going to get the bounce working correctly through the sand. And then I've got my practice wedge in here, which I've had in now. I use my practice wedge every day. It's got a putter grip on, just to kind of keep the grip as neutral as possible, and it's how I work the club back, and it gives me a lot of good feelings with the putter grip. I know a lot of guys on tour have got these on now in different angles and different things, whoever worked, which coach they work with. But me and Graham have always had it just on square, more for me, for my left hand neutral grip. It's a very, very simple head shape. Obviously black head, solid white line down the back for alignment purposes. It's a 34.5 inch length. I tinker with that at times just for the posture stuff. I often go down or up in length, and then just your standard Odyssey grip.